uzima. Tuungane sote tuimbe pamoja, kuenzi shikamano hatima yetu. Tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika. Chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini letu wakati wa mafarakano. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima.
Let us make Africa the tree of life. This is Katom Mukasa for Humanist TV Africa. This is Humanist TV Africa. We are a registered charity. We are a registered NGO, registered to do media work. As I speak, we have studios in Kenya, Uganda. We have studios in Ghana and Nigeria. We have studios in Sierra Leone, and of course, Zambia and Zimbabwe, United Kingdom, and the USA. We are growing. We want to encourage you to please look at the screen. There is our information. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. We need you to subscribe so that you can be able to reach a bigger audience. Our YouTube, Facebook, TikTok is Humanist TV Africa. Simply Google us, Humanist TV Africa. Inquiries, send us an email. Our email is info@humanisttvafrica.com. We have a WhatsApp number and we have a website. Our website is www.humanisttvafrica.com. How about checking our website and see what we do? Remember, we are here to empower each other. We are here to learn from each other. We learn from you as you learn from us. We empower one person at a time, one village at a time, one sub-county, one parish, one community at a time. We are here to empower each other and change the way things are. We want to change the paradigm shift. The way we see things, the way we do things, we want to change this. Now, this program is Humanist Parenting. This program is Humanist Parenting. You are a parent, you are a humanist, and you wonder how you're going to raise your children to be able to think critically. Watch this series and learn. This is part 8 of Humanist Parenting. And the theme today is teach children about Africa. I repeat, it doesn't matter whether you're Caucasian. It doesn't matter whether you are Asian. It doesn't matter whether you are Indo-Asian, Euro-Asian, whether you are Emirato, whether you are an African, whether you're a black person like me. It doesn't matter. Teach people about Africa. It's important because that's our origin. Let us have a connectivity with Africa. Remember, we have been saying continuously that Africa is the future. Like it or not, Africa is going to be the future of the world. The resources, the environment, the population, the fertility of our soils, the space that we have is going to make Africa the future in one or another. So it's important to raise your children without biases. Let them know about Africa. Let us have a look at these images. Remember that the intention is to open your mind. Open the mind of the children. Once the children can think better, we are going to have a better generation. Let's have a look at the videos prepared for this.
Hello to our viewers around the world. My name is Anthony Afalo on NABN TV. Here is our editorial for the week. I credit our word of knowledge today to Simon Oladapo. Here is a word of knowledge that you can cash in as we reflect on yesterday and what persists in our world today. There are basically two economies in the world, and every nation on the face of the earth fall under either of them. These are the knowledge economy and the religion economy. The rich and prosperous nations of the world belong to the knowledge economy, while the poorest and poverty-stricken nations of the world belong to the religion economy. The knowledge economy is one that engages the brain, asks questions, relevant questions, and prefers solutions to problems. The religion economy is one that blackmails God and dumps every responsibility on him. The knowledge economy tasks the brain, while the religion economy numbs the brain. Japan, for instance, is a knowledge economy. It has no natural resources, but it is a prosperous nation and one of the richest on the planet. At least 6 of every 10 cars on Africa's road today are Japanese made. Japan is not a religious economy, but it is one of the most corrupt free nations. China, on the other hand, is not a religious economy, but nations that ignore China does so at their own peril. African countries fall under the category of religion economy. More so than others, African countries are endowed with the majority of the natural resources on the face of the earth, yet also among the poorest. Africa wears proudly the badge of the poverty capital of the world, with endless corruption. It is also one of the most religious continents on the planet. God watches in disgust as we mortgage our brains. But here is the irony. The two major religions of the world, Christianity and Islam, emanated from Israel and Saudi Arabia, respectively. But none of those two nations fall under religion economy. None. One of the evidences of their subscription to knowledge economy is the yearly pilgrimages that generates for them revenues in billions of dollars. But hypocritically, some corrupt nations are comfortable disseminating nuisance to humanity with their globalization of religion economy. There's a reason he gave man brain and instructed him to subdue the earth. If you are a Christian or a Muslim who does not commit yourself to the pursuit of knowledge, your life will become a perfect reflection.
Religion is one of the major problems we have in Africa. And the only way to overcome this problem is by stopping all forms of religion in Africa. There are more churches in Africa than companies or factories. Africa is the most religious, most prayerful, and most God-fearing continent in the world, but yet tagged the most poorest and undeveloped in the world. Africans are more religious than the people that brought religion to us. We Africans pray too much. We pray and seize everything as a spiritual problem instead of finding realistic solutions to our problems. It is only in Africa that you will see more than 15 churches in one street, but sees few or no single factory or company at all. It is only in Africa you will see 2 to 3 different churches beside each other. It is only in Africa that you will see a story building that has church at the first floor and another at the second floor. It is only in Africa that you will see pastors boasting of how they bought and turned an hotel or club that has people on their payroll to churches, rendering all the workers of those clubs jobless. All in the name of, the club is distracting them from worshiping their God. It is only in Africa where churches has services almost all the days of the week, and people will attend all those services praying for prosperity, instead of looking for realistic ways to prosper. Let me tell you something. prosperity has nothing to do with prayers, casting, and binding or prophetic declarations by pastors. Believers believe that prosperity is given by their God, so they always pray for it. That's why you will always find out that most of the poorest people in your area are the most prayerful and most holy people, because they always pray for miracle money to come to them, instead of doing realistic things that will attract money to them. It is only in Africa you will see factories been turned to churches. Then the members will go inside to pray to their God for jobs. My fellow Africans, what is really our problem? Can't we see that this religion of a thing is not really working for us? Why are we carrying this religion of a thing on our head more than the people that brought it to us? Dear religious leaders, please, we don't need churches in every 5 to 10 meters in the streets of Africa. We need more companies or factories in every 100 to 200 meters in every streets of Africa. And please stop turning the little ones we have to churches, and stop rendering people jobless by turning clubs and hotels to churches. My name is Peter Poland, and I will tell you for free that church is a type of business in Africa. And I'm going to talk about this on my next video. You can DM me if you agree or know that church is a business.
Thank you very much. You have seen it clearly. Now, if you show these brief videos to your children, and you accompany these videos with a message, trust me, Africa will develop. We are going to have a crop of children that think that church is a business, that a mosque is a business, that a shrine is a business, that religion is a business. Religion is a multi-dollar billion industry. It's a business. Sheikhs are making money. Priests are making money. Rabbis are making money. But the worshippers are becoming more and more poor. Where are they? They're in Africa, in Europe, in the UK here. Churches have been turned into casinos. Churches have been turned into bars. Churches have been turned into restaurants, backpackers, hostels. I have seen these churches by or with my naked eyes. I've seen churches in England that have been converted to casinos, to lodges, to hostels, to bars, to schools. I've seen churches in Scotland that have been turned into the same. Places where people go and have fun because the world is growing. You cannot keep building churches that are useless to the people. People in Europe have abandoned the God they brought to you in Africa. Africans, why are you worshiping these gods? Build hospitals, build churches, build vocational training colleges. This is what this episode is meant about. Teach children about the stupidity going on in Africa. It doesn't matter whether these children are in Europe or in the USA or in China or in Japan. Teach them about the stupidity going on in Africa. Encourage them to go to Africa and invest in Africa. Don't build more churches in Africa. Teach your children to invest back in Africa. Let us look at the screenshots. Let us look at the images, the pictorial, and then we shall be able to wind up the show. Now, this is what Africa was. You get people, gather them on a meal and educate them. Teach your children over a meal. Teach them Ubuntu. Teach them to love each other. This is the African way. African way, we respect our elders, our grandparents. We respect them and we keep them alive. We keep them with us. We don't send them to homes of the elders. We keep our elders. Teach your children to love their ancestors, to love the adults, to love the grandpas. Look at Africa now. These are children in Senegal are learning how to do some bit of computing. And much of West Africa now is copying a bit of science to teach children about practicals. Look at the children of Africa above there. They're being taught how to become nuns and priests. Children in Japan, in China, in Singapore are being taught technology, STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. In Europe, they are teaching people about love, about science. In Africa, we are under the war, running from each other, killing each other over wars engineered by capitalists who want to steal from us. Teach your children to avoid war, to avoid the people that push them into fighting. Teach them that Africa can only develop when there is peace. Teach them about the images that people in Africa worship. They get a bag of sand, a bag of cement, and some bit of color, and they paint a Jesus Christ. They paint a Mary, and they tell you, go and worship. Meanwhile, in countries that brought us the religion, they no longer worship these images. Teach them science instead of religion. Go and water your garden. Don't pray for your crops to grow. Go and water your garden. Do irrigation. Don't simply pray. Prayers don't work. Teach them the practicality of doing things that matter in life. Teach them about slavery. Ephesians 6:5. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with deep respect and fear. Serve them sincerely as you would serve Christ. Tell them that the Bible was used to enslave people in Africa. Africans don't need a religion that made them slaves. Teach them about capitalism, which makes people greedy. Tell them that our history was written by those that hung our heroes. Our grandparents were hanged. Our ancestors were killed. Now, given this fact, it is therefore foolish to believe that the history taught us is true. Teach them the right history about Africa. And remember, we are united. Whether you're Caucasian, whether you're a Black person, whether you're Asian, regardless of the skin color you have, we remain one people. We remain a people that can move this world together in unity. Give them this proverb. A cat that dreams of becoming a lion must begin with losing the appetite for rats. If you're going to do great things as a cat, stop eating rats, go for bigger things. Teach them to dream higher and make Africa shine. This is us from Africa, us from humanity. And of course, I say, give me coffee to change the things I can. Give me wine to accept those I cannot. Teach them to accept that something may not be able to change in 1 year or two. Let them be patient. Teach them to develop a better attitude to life. Not everything's going to come easy. We are going to have to work. We are going to be patient, but work towards doing things better. Teach your children about Africa and the stupidity going on in Africa. Tell them that the religion has destroyed Africa, that we are into a regional economy when Europe is into a knowledge economy. In fact, Europe has gone now beyond a knowledge economy. USA is gradually leaving the religious economy because it was also affecting them into much of a knowledge economy. Japan is developing very fast because it's escaping a religious economy. The same is applicable to China. They have their own belief system, but they don't get entangled by the hopeless belief system of China. They have their system, but they still use technology, they use science to develop their children's mindset. Change the mindset of your child by telling them the reality that miracles don't exist without you putting in an effort. Miracles can only exist if human beings offer those miracles. Everything is worked for, not prayed for. Everything is worked for, not prayed for. Don't go for prayers because you'll be playing. Don't go for prayers because you'll be playing. Prayers equal playing. Tell them that the world goes with people that are practical. The world needs a hands-on approach to issues. Prayers don't solve problems. They have never solved any problem, and prayers will never solve a problem. Be practical, be scientific, be result-oriented, be evidence-based. Thank you so much for watching. This is Man TV Africa. And of course, I want to encourage you to please subscribe. Subscribe and watch these and more of these episodes. See you in the next one.